Welcome to Edge of the Rabbit Hole. I am Mike Ricksecker. With me, as always, is Vanessa Hogle, and of course, our chat Shananigator. Shana is down there in the chat room. We have a fantastic episode for you tonight. EctoVision Paranormal has returned, and we're going to be talking about paranormal investigations, primarily St. Joseph's investigation that I was on with them back in, I think it was back in June now, but just released a video here a couple weeks ago. Want to talk with the guys about it, and we'll talk about other paranormal and supernatural topics as well. But before we get into all that, Vanessa, you know I am extremely happy right now.
I know you are.
And why is that? And why is that?
Well, because all we have wanted recently is to get to the 5,000 subscriber mark on Haunted Road Media.
Yep.
And after you did your post last night, I turned around and reposted that little bad boy, and I said, "Come on, bitches!"
Yeah, a lot of you are reposting it. I think Janet reposted. Gwen, Donna Gordon was out there doing stuff, so it was like a group effort. Shawn, I think you did too. So yeah, so that was, and I really do appreciate it. So we have surpassed 5,000. We tried to get there by the new year, but you know what? The holidays, it's like YouTube comes to a grinding halt during the holidays. So. But you know what? 2 weeks passed. It's good. We're all good. So
I think we're okay.
Oh yeah, we're good. So next goal is 10,000. I talked about this some months ago. Next goal is 10,000 by my birthday, which is July 21st. So that's a big one to chew, but we can do it. To honor this one, we're doing a giveaway. Of course.
Okay.
And so the and yes, Shana after throwing that, yes, Shana was reposting everything too. Of course. Our chat Shananigator reposts everything. So we have a giveaway that we're doing, and that is for a Haunted Road Media t-shirt of your choice, because we do have a few of them out there now. So this is one of them, Edge of the Rabbit Hole. It could be the I'm into witchy shit one. It could be the Mike's Morning Mug, which is I'm just here for the coffee. Maybe by the time we get to this time next week, I'll have a couple other designs out there that you can choose from. But whoever gets drawn, then you get your choice. So here's the thing. You can't tell me here that you want to be entered into the contest.
Yeah. Has to go on social media.
Yes, YouTube oddity with their terminology. I can tell you about it here. We can draw it here, but we cannot actually take entries for the contest here. So anywhere else on social media. So
absolutely.
Tell us on Facebook, or whether it's on a post, through Messenger, on Twitter, in an email, wherever. Just not here. So and
tell you what, Mike. Tell you what. Just because I'm feeling all kinds of generous and shit right now, we need to hit 10,000 by your birthday.
Yeah.
Let's hit 7,000 by mine.
Okay.
Mine's March 14th. And if we can hit 7,000 by my birthday,
if we were to hit,
whoever wins the drawing at that time gets all 3 books.
If we hit 7,000 by your birthday, we would be far past 10,000 by mine, just by the momentum. Because you're talking 2,000 by your birthday, so.
If we hit 7,000 by my birthday, which is March 14th,
yep.
Whoever enters that and sends you a message, please don't send it to me because I'll fuck it up. I won't even know. Okay? Shit's got to go to Mike because he's head honcho. He's the big ass in charge right there. Goes to Mike. I'll send you 3 of my books.
Awesome. There you go.
Kind.
So that's the incentive for 7,000. All 3 of Vanessa's books.
3 pennies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So y'all can do it. Yeah.
We can definitely do this. So, and again, thank you everybody. Thank you for everybody who's been reposting. Even on Sunday, Shana was like, let's go live from, my Facebook, which she's never done. She's never gone live from her Facebook before. And so it was like, let's try to get some people. It's like, all right. And we just, we talked paranormal stuff, said, hey, subscribe, So, and Tom McNicholas, hey, $5 super chat for the 5,000. Tom, you are the man. Tom's awesome. He's going to be there. He is going to be there. We got to talk about this too. He's going to be there at the, we really haven't come up with a name for it, but it's really going to be the Haunted Road Media Paracon, and that's June 9th at Mineral Springs Hotel in Alton, Illinois. So from 10 till 6, and then we're doing a public investigation at night. So mark it on your calendars, June 9th, Alton, Illinois. We're all going to be there. So I'm going to be there. Shauna's going to be there. Vanessa's going to be there. We got, Shawn, you're coming, right?
I'm planning on it. I got time off at work.
Shawn's going to be there. We got the Haunted Road Media personnel that we already have, and I say personnel, authors, Haunted Road Media authors that we already have on board. Leah Ehrlich's going to be there. Amelia Cotter, Adam Tillery, Katie Hopkins, Chris Sutton is already on board. He's local there. Chuck Banks, our friend Chuck Banks is coming on down. So we're getting a good lineup all put together. So Eric, what about you? Put you on the spot here.
Hi, Mom.
That's a great cop out. I love it. So.
Are you gonna come, Eric?
Oh, I don't know what. I'm kind of on a sabbatical, kind of relaxing and chilling out and doing little things here and there to keep busy. So who knows what's in my future?
Well,
all
you
right.
need to seriously consider it because it's gonna be a good time.
Okay. Thank you for the invitation. I might.
All right. So, well, let's get into it. We've let these guys kind of wait through our stuff. And again, Tom, thank you for the super chat. We really do appreciate that. So, let's just start it off for those of our viewers who are not familiar with you from last time, because you guys were on back in, I think it was last March. It was almost a year ago. So, tell us a little bit about EctoVision Paranormal.
Oh, okay. I can do that. Maybe. Our team, we make pretty cool videos. We go to different places. We do investigated homes, and we'll document activity, and we'll share it on our YouTube channel. And that's pretty much what we do, and we're not goofing off.
And you're based in Ohio.
That's correct. We're based in northeastern Ohio, right in between, actually, Cleveland and the Akron area. Mm-hmm. So we get a lot of our calls from this area.
Now, that leads me into a question real quick, Mike, if you don't mind. Since you're having the majority of your calls coming from that area, you're not venturing out too far, do you find that area of the country seems to be congested with paranormal activity? Or do you think maybe, it's just a little bit and you guys draw more by going there? Or what's your opinion on that?
That is a really good question. I think it's kind of speculative because, we do get a lot of calls, and maybe just as many as other people. I really haven't asked around. So it's possible that, because we're out there, we do get a lot of calls, but it's also possible that this is one of those areas where there's just a lot of people that have a lot of claims and a lot of activity. So I guess it's anyone's best guess, Vanessa.
Now, let me ask you just real quick, and then I'm going to give it back to Mike. But this leads me into another question. Shawn, I'm going to direct this one towards you, or either one of you, whichever one of y'all want to answer. Have you found a commonality in your clients? Do you find that the majority of your calls come from a certain demographic, a certain, family unit as far as size or gender goes? Have you found any commonality in that, or is it as random as anything else?
I personally believe we get more phone calls from females, and it's generally ranging anywhere from, I would say, 30 on up.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And if there is a male presence, it's usually you just hear him yelling in the background. Back when I was doing the taking care of the cases and everything before Amber took over, If I would be mostly the woman who would call in, but sometimes you would hear a man yelling in the background, adding his little tidbits. So, or you hear him yelling, "That's bullshit" in the background. But yeah, most of the time it is the women that call in. Right? So I think that personally, the women are just more open to admitting that there might be something that they don't understand in their home. A man is more likely to try and explain something more like it's the wind outside or something like that.
Well, that makes sense. And the reason I was asking is, I mean, like I said, I've been this way my whole life, but man, that door kicked wide open in my 30s. And Eric, for you to say that most of the women age and range from 30 and up, I've been working
something more like it's the wind outside or
open up. Not just myself, but most women open up at the age of 30 on up because our mentality changes in the way that we view the world and the way that we accept what's happening around us, and we use our own personal experiences just to kind of push through it. And so you actually kind of confirmed what I've been wondering about right there. So thank you for that. I was really curious. I haven't asked anybody else that question yet. So awesome sauce. Mike, where'd you go, hun? You know I'm gonna get long-winded.
Oh, I know. No, I was trying to fix a periscope issue, and that's where the echo came from, because I was trying to fix something, so of course I broke it first, you know. So, and I was hoping you were gonna go for like one more minute because I need to run and get Ghosty. So, but you know.
Okay, go get them. We got this.
All right, go. I'll go get Ghosty.
Okay, B3 Aerospace actually kind of confirmed what I was saying, is that they said, you know, hormones. I agree with that. You know, I mean, I have found personally that as a female, not that we corner the market on paranormal experiences, because we don't, but we have our experiences when we're younger, when we're first hitting puberty and everything, and things just kind of go wacky. You find, personally, at least for me, that when we hit an older age, 30, 35, 40, so on and so forth, we get level or more paranormal activity, but it tends to be more of an intelligent paranormal activity, more of an interactive instead of just this is happening and I noticed it. Now it's becoming an interactive and sometimes a verbally or physically violent type of situation. Have you found that as well?
Actually, something similar to that, yes. I think once that stage of puberty hits in females, you have that, I guess what they refer to some is the poltergeist effect, and activity does seem to amp up around that time. Outside of that, you have that menopause stage where, of course, activity might run rampant.
Yeah. Goes fucking berserk, Eric, okay? Goes berserk, right? Just say it. Call a spade a spade. Okay?
It's all right.
I want to stay alive.
True story. True story. I ain't even mad. I ain't even mad. What you doing, Mike?
Okay, so guys, I wanted to talk to you, of course, about the investigation that we did at St. Joseph's. So I was going to include a couple clips here. I really only have one in place, and it was the one that I posted to Instagram because I've just been going crazy. That's why, you know, I was slow on the uptake with Periscope and about half dozen other things leading into this show. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to show everybody the clip real quick. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it or not. They will, which is the important thing. So, and it's just like some quick stuff from, I don't know if you guys saw the video I posted a couple weeks ago? All right.
Yep.
So it's just the like very beginning of that. So.
It takes a lot of work.
Did you just hear somebody behind us?
Yes, I did.
Calling Dr. Davis. Calling Dr. Davis.
This door was open earlier. All right, and then it just kicks into the little intro screen. Okay, so that was just a couple quick things. Kind of can you guys go back a little bit? I know that was back in June, but kind of sum up a little bit, the investigation there at St. Joe's and what you guys thought of the hospital.
Well, I'll start. I would say my impression of the hospital was that it was awesome. My impression of the investigation, however, and how it went was not so smooth. As you recall, Mike, we had so many technical difficulties.
Yeah.
More so than I can remember, than maybe any other location. We had so much strange problems that I can't even begin to describe. We were fighting those two cameras on that one floor all night.
Yeah.
And I think you even captured the essence of some of the frustration.
I did.
You did.
But do you think it was just equipment malfunction, or do you think there's something with the energy there, or maybe some paranormal activity, some spirit, playing around with the equipment?
Well, as you know, Mike, a lot of times when you're investigating, what's something that tends to happen? You cannot keep your cameras running. That's just something that happens. I personally don't believe that there's any way that those two cameras could have been malfunctioning the same exact way. I mean, they were connected to different lines, different ways. And I double, triple checked it. It didn't make any sense. So I'm chalking that one up to something was having foolies with us.
Well, here's the thing. That place has no power.
Right.
Rick rented a generator for us to power our equipment, keep our cameras running. So could the cameras have been malfunctioning because of something with the generator? Possibly.
Well, I don't think that's very likely because I've done this before and it never happened before.
You're right. We did that at what is it? At the inn. Inn, yeah. So, but I don't know. It's very frustrating though.
I don't think that a generator would have caused any type of malfunction. Personally, just with my experience, because we had to have a generator at the house my ex-husband and I had, because weather would just knock everything out. I don't see any malfunction with that. What struck me, Eric, was how you led off into that particular subject, as you said, on that one floor.
That's correct.
You didn't say everywhere. You said one floor. So
because that's where it was happening.
Huh? Is that the only area where that happened at?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's the same floor down those two hallways.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which are very prominent areas for paranormal activity, both locations.
Yes, they are.
All sorts of shadows up there.
Yeah.
He did. So, I mean, it just kind of coincided with the claims of them having constant activity in that area. But, I get what Shawn is saying too. But the coincidence, those cameras were connected by two different lines, but they were connected to the same generator, just different lines in, and there were cameras that should have shut off as well if, that camera shut off, and it was a line issue through the power lines. I mean, it just didn't happen. So I'm not convinced that it was something that we accidentally did wrong.
Personally, to me, it seems like if that place doesn't have any type of electricity, and all of a sudden it has that electricity, just so you guys to do that, we all know that spirits need that energy in order to be able to communicate a little bit better, or to get their point across a little bit stronger. So you're talking about a place where they don't normally have that luxury. So all of a sudden they do. I'd be draining the fuck out of everything too. I'm not even gonna cry. If I'm trying to get people to talk to me. Was this on the third floor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Psych
ward, and then down toward labor and delivery. Yeah.
Yeah, it was more on the right side than the left side. It was on both, but on the right side and not the left, or more on the right side and less on the left.
Which, if you're standing in that hallway where they cross, the right side would be a psych ward, which
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was more on that side.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with
that's
Shauna,
what-
when Shauna and I went back, it's only like 2 or 3 weeks later, we were getting a lot of activity in that psych ward. We went live and people were seeing all kinds of shadows and whatnot going on back behind us. But we do have a couple of questions. First from John Cleaver. Do you guys ever get scared in some of these places like the hospital?
Yes.
Okay. Didn't know if you heard me or not. I gotta repeat. Okay.
No, that's a great question, John. I personally do. Not so much where I run out of a building, but you do get a little creeped out sometimes, or you'll be walking and you'll hear something kind of whisper in your ear, and that's kind of a little startling. But it all comes with the territory, and you get used to it, and you learn to love it.
Yeah, I think any investigator that says that they never get scared, I think they're lying. And when
Are you calling me a liar?
When we're setting up, what's that?
You calling me a liar?
Maybe. There's times when I'll be at a place and I'll just get this uneasy feeling. Being an empath, it gives me an experience that I guess that'd be different than like Eric would have. And there's just areas I don't want to be alone in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just like, I know that I just shouldn't be alone. I don't know why. It's kind of like that feeling you get when you're a kid and you're running through the basement pulling the strings. You know exactly where the lights are, It's that same kind of like feeling. So yeah, I don't know. Mike, you're saying you never get scared?
There's a difference between what you're saying with an uneasy feeling and getting scared.
Yeah.
I'm a writer, so I'm going to nitpick words,
I think that's probably what John meant. Not running out like a little girl, you know. And, but,
yeah.
Hey,
first season of Ghost Hunters, dude, run!
No, even get me started.
Now, when you have an RT, a real-time recorder on, and you're with somebody who's very loud and they decide to sneeze very loud.
Well, yeah, you'll jump at that.
Echoes that might startle you.
Yeah, or Shauna's demon stomach. Yeah.
You tingle just a little.
Which,
okay?
which speaking of Shauna, she also has a question for you guys. Do Shawn and Eric notice that activity increases if or when they do a YouTube or Facebook live session? So if you're doing a live session from a investigation, you notice that there's an increase in activity?
I have not noticed that.
I agree. I don't think that I don't know that we've ever really, tested that theory, but I haven't noticed where it's affected it in one way or the other.
Yeah, I think every time we've gone live, it's always been just like something short, like, hey, here we are, hi guys. It's never been a live investigation. I think we did it once at the Lincoln County Jail when we did the flashlight tour. I think that's really it.
Okay. So you guys don't do you guys usually don't do big live full investigations?
No.
Okay.
We like to save our foot for a city
for that.
Yeah. Yeah, and you guys have some great cameras for capturing all that. Kind of give a little bit of a rundown of the equipment that you're using, because I'm sure people would probably be interested in that. Because I was impressed.
Oh, thank you. We use Canon XA10s. They're an older model of the Canons. They shoot 1920 by 1080, 30 frames up to 60 frames per second. And they have the IR capabilities or, the natural light capabilities. And all the static cameras are kind of those cheap consumer grade that have got modded so that you can do full spectrum, regular light or IR light. And that's pretty much it. It's nothing too special. The Canons are my babies, though. I really love those.
Yeah, those are pretty nice.
Yeah, they do a really good job, I think. Especially if you got sufficient light. You got to have that light, otherwise it doesn't look as good. Nothing will look good if you don't have it.
It gets a little grainy when you don't have the right lighting. So.
Exactly right.
Yeah. So we have another question here from Real Paranormal Activity, the podcast. Excuse me. When investigating at night and taking video, do you like to have the lights on when taking video evidence or off? And if off, and off or on, and why if off or on? Okay.
We do everything in the dark. We do it all in the dark. We use IR.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they want to know why.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. If you're always off, then why? Yeah.
Because it makes us look cool. No,
because the cool investigators do it in the dark, right?
Exactly.
Some real investigators don't use a flashlight. That's my ongoing joke.
All right.
But a flashlight, though, is another form of a communication tool. It can be used as another form of a communication tool. So even just a small pin light using, a spirit can actually manipulate that and give you a whole other way to document their existence. So that just might be something you want to play with in the future. I know other teams where they've actually, it's been sitting there and no one's touching it. They're videotaping it and the flashlight goes off, on, but it's not flickering. It's physically being turned off and turned on. And no one's holding it. That's a whole other level of communication.
Mm-hmm.
So just an interesting thing to think about maybe someday. Might want to try it. But yeah, I don't have none of that shit, so I don't know. I just go in and talk to them.
Yeah, they just straight up talk to you. You don't have to.
I just go and talk to them.
You don't have to try to set up things for them to play with.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give me something. I don't know. Be more like you people. I have no idea because I don't know how to do all that shit.
But they talk straight to you. You don't have to.
Yeah.
They want to know why we use the IR lights, and we haven't told them. Shawn and I talked about this before, and it does make us look cool. It's funny, but the real reason is because we can control the lighting better this way. If we know where the light's coming from, and we know what's casting shadows, and we're controlling the exact light, that's generally the best way to investigate, in my personal opinion. And that's probably one of the bigger reasons. We investigate at night, not necessarily at dark, but at night, because it's quieter, as a general rule, and it's more convenient for us and the client. I hope that makes sense. There's other reasons, but
yeah, you definitely don't get as much noise pollution during the night as during the day. I mean, even the other day when Shana and I went live from Mineral Springs, it was during the day, and it was a little bit of a different take. It was the hours that we had available to us there because they were closing everything up at 4. But it was like, well, let's try it anyway. And yeah, we're getting a ton of noise pollution off the street. I mean, we usually do there anyway because it's a main drag. But, a lot busier during the day. So, yeah, that's definitely, paranormal activity doesn't always happen at night. Of course, it happens any time of day. It's just when you're investigating, there's, like what you said, as far as being able to control the light. Because people don't think about, well, with the sun being out, it can go in and out of clouds. And so different shadows are cast and things like that. So, yeah. So there's reasons.
Yep.
We have another question here from Zippy and Reka asking if the fellas have ever been scratched or shoved. And I'm going to add another question that was from somebody else up here. I can't find it now. From Zippy as well. Can a spirit have enough energy to push you down? So you have basically 2 questions. Do you think they have enough energy to push you down? And have you ever been pushed or scratched or shoved?
Me personally, I have not been scratched. I've been touched a lot. Mostly it's like around my head or it's on my face. One time I did feel like I was kind of wrapped in cobwebs. It's mostly stuff like that. So me personally, no, I haven't. But I have a very respectful approach when I investigate. I learned when I was having my experiences when I was younger that pushing the spirit in the wrong way, it provokes more negative attention towards myself, and I'm not looking for that. I'm looking to gain interaction and to learn from that interaction, and I don't feel like if I'm getting upset, the spirit's getting upset, no one's learning anything. And building off of that, if a spirit is pushing you down, you're probably making it very upset, and you're probably provoking and probably doing something you shouldn't be doing anyways. Can the spirit have energy, strong enough energy to do that? I believe so. If they can push a door shut, move a chair, or do other things, why couldn't they affect us physically as well?
And you, Eric?
I agree with Shawn. I think that if a spirit can move an object, it can certainly move a person. I have been scratched before. The effects were that I became physically ill, almost like a flu that came almost as quickly as it went. And I've actually been touched before as well. That didn't make me feel any certain way other than what I felt at the time. And everyone around me probably thought I was nuts because I let out a yell. But I certainly believe that it's possible, and it just makes sense that if they can move an object, they have that ability that to cause that force, then they should be able to do the same thing to a person.
Okay. Cool. We do have another question here from Jessica Shea. This is kind of back to the whole flashlight thing. Isn't the flashlight more expansion and contraction from the flashlight heating and cooling?
Is that for me or Shawn?
For either one.
There's a lot of people that believe that filament in there will kind of heat up, and once it gets to a certain temperature, it might kind of back off that battery, and it loses continuity, where that electricity's got to flow. It kind of breaks that connection slightly. Because the idea is that you tighten that on just enough to keep that lit up until it, the spirit can drain the energy. So, yeah, that's one possible scientific explanation for how that flashlight can be debunked.
Cool. Just on Periscope real quick, I do need to thank Tom McNicholas for a super heart out there. Thank you, Tom, for the Periscope super heart. It's just off to the side over here, so sorry if I don't get you guys as much. And then also from Bridget, have you guys had anything follow you home?
I knew what Shawn was going to say.
Not that I'm completely aware of. Leave it at that.
Okay.
I approve.
I have from a couple locations. One, I decided that I was going to do an experiment involving just myself, and I didn't tell anyone I was doing it because I knew I'd get yelled at. But I decided to go to we were into a location that I felt like it may be safe enough for me to try. What would be the difference if I were to go into an investigation and not shield? I didn't shield myself at all. I just did a quick little prayer before I went in, and that was it. And something followed me home from there. That was the Wilby Coal Supply in Wilby, Ohio. It's a really neat place. A lot of great interaction. I had something thrown at me there, and we were doing a spirit circle in the top floor. And all of a sudden, I just felt myself getting extremely angry. I was nauseous and irritated and angry for absolutely no reason. And that feeling, I was able to kind of realize what wasn't mine. And I was kind of able to let most of it go. But I did have something follow me from there. I took a couple sagings and prayers to get rid of that one. And then Madison Seminary, that one was a doozy. So, yeah, that one I shielded on, and that one really affected me pretty bad. So yeah, that's happened a couple times.
Fun, ain't it?
Yeah. And I'm glad I know what to do, and I know how to realize that's going on, and so that's good, I suppose. And luckily, knock on wood, my family hasn't been affected either. So
Well, that's good.
that's
Yeah,
good.
because that's always a concerning thing. Bring something home and it affects the family.
Yes, that's always been a big concern of mine. So luckily, as far as I know, no one's ever said anything about it. So far, I'm pretty good.
Well, good.
We have another question in here from, I believe it's a real paranormal activity. I'm taking this a little bit tongue-in-cheek, just because of how it's worded. It said, if spirits need energy, why don't they just hang out by the wall outlet and get all the energy they need? Tongue-in-cheek aside, that's a fair question. It's a good question. I know how I feel on it. How do y'all feel?
I'm not saying that there's anything proving that they can't or can, but, we can speculate as to what the reasons may be why some could and one couldn't, I guess. I mean, not all spirits or entities or even a presence would communicate in the same ways, so they may not use the same kinds of methods. It probably just depends on how that spirit is able to communicate and what they are able to manipulate around them. If you believe that something like that is possible in the first place. So I honestly wouldn't know the science behind how that could happen or even begin to try to explain that. But, I suppose it's possible.
Well, who's to say that what we hear or see that hangs close to the walls, who's to say that they're not doing that? But if they want to have any type of interaction with us in close proximity, I personally believe that they have to use our energy or something that we have in our hands or presence, and to be able to pull that, because it would take too much to pull from a wall and then move 20 feet and keep that momentum going in order to be able to speak or to contact us. Here's
been my take on it for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, like when it comes to battery drain and all that, I don't think they realize they're doing it. I mean, these are spirits, ghosts, what have you, that had once been people. They're not going to think, well, I stick my finger in the wall socket. We've always been taught not to do that, right? So they're not thinking, I'm going to stick my finger in the wall socket and get some energy and manifest. And they're thinking like people, They're not thinking like paranormal investigators. So, I think when battery drain happens, it's by accident. They're coming in close proximity and they're just not realizing that the way that they are trying to interact does have an effect on the electronic equipment around us. I think it's a lot of it on their part is accidental, and their manifestations a lot of times aren't on purpose.
Well, and let's face it, when I'm out with the team, I would much rather your batteries get drained than me.
Sure enough.
That's true.
Yeah, you don't have to feed your batteries when it's all said and done. I get hungry like a motherfucker.
Right.
Okay, so, I would rather your batteries get drained than my battery. So
right.
That doesn't bother me one bit. But Mike, actually, I think you're right. I think that it's just, kind of the way it is. They want to be close to us. They want to like you said, be in close proximity, and that just is a side effect of it.
Yeah.
Well,
I agree.
In order for a battery to get drained, you have to have a flow of energy. So the positive has to connect to the negative. So a lot of people believe that it's not necessarily even draining the battery, but it's affecting it somehow. It's disrupting that flow of energy. So, it's possible that, we might be looking at it entirely wrong. Yes, maybe the spirit consists of energy, but it may not be draining the battery's energy. It might actually just be interrupting it. Yeah, interrupting that flow.
You're actually 100% correct, Erica. I'm going to tell you why, at least on this particular instance. One of the teams I work with at England, they were having a live feed. NP Paranormal was having a live feed, a live investigation, and what they had fully charged batteries, fully charged when they got to the location. Within 10 minutes, one of them dropped down to 8%. 8% from 100. So they put that one away. They actually they did 10 more minutes on a different device, and then they had to stop because everything was draining. They get back to the car, that some bitch went back up to 50.
Yeah.
Back up 50%. It wasn't drained, it was interrupted. That's a very good point.
Now, I have experienced battery draining, right, on a camera that I was using or on another piece of equipment. But, you know, I have batteries in my pocket. I go and I put in a battery, a new battery or another fully charged battery. Those batteries are always fine. It's only the batteries that are in our equipment, right? So, in my mind, that means that they are somehow affecting the energy within that equipment that they see holding. They're not going to go and just like take a finger on a positive and negative or put their tongue on a 9 battery, you know.
I would.
And Mike, I have to say, it's really funny that you brought up the whole sticking the finger in the outlet, because when that question was first asked, I actually pictured like a child spirit sticking their finger in an outlet, and so that kind of made me laugh.
I mean, they could, I suppose. I mean, when I was a kid, I stuck a screwdriver in the light switch and blew the fuses in the house.
Yeah.
So the child spirit do weird stuff.
Right.
So, give that movie A Christmas Story. When the kid sticks his tongue on the light pole, he goes, come on.
Right.
That would be me. If that ever happens after I die, y'all, that's me.
So we have a question from Beat 3 Airspace. Has anyone ever gathered or tested ectoplasm? I'll answer that real quick and I'll let you guys take it. Let me go get Ghosty a sock real quick and we'll collect some. And she left.
Oh man, hope the kitties are in bed.
Y'all motherfuckers are so mean to me. Oh, Jesus. I swear. Oh. Little shits. Did you see what they posted on my page yesterday?
Yes.
I was driving, so no, I didn't see it.
Guy? Yeah, and he had like whipped cream looking shit all over him.
Oh, jeez.
He said, I swear it's ectoplasm. I'm like, you motherfuckers. Oh. Okay, so Ghosty, stop.
So Ghosty and his sock aside, guys. Ectoplasm?
Well, if we're talking something like in the
Ghostbusters?
in the literal Ghostbuster sense, I would say no. That's very highly unlikely. But if we're talking something in the sense more of like an ectoplasmic mist, I mean, people witness what they believe that is, but I don't believe that anyone's obviously ever been able to test it. And, they might think they capture it on film or on still image, but yeah, we're not to the stage where we can actually, get a sample of that. And I hope I didn't sound like a jerk right now.
No. But let me.
What's there a post on Facebook though about a woman who had like some sort of sexual relationship with a spirit, but she preferred spirit, physical. Did anyone else see that?
I've seen that. And there was a show a couple years ago about people having sex with ghosts. But there was a woman, I forget her name, like maybe 70, 80 years ago now, and people still wonder if it was a gimmick or some sort of trick, but she used to just manifest ectoplasm. And so I forget her name, but I remember reading about her a long time ago.
Well, I have to go back here to Shawn for a second because he said something about spider webs. If you know for a fact They are not spider webs. If you're not in the general vicinity of any arachnid, okay, if it is an impossibility for you to have walked through spider webs, it has been my experience and experience of those who I've investigated with, that when you have that feeling, and that's the first thing you want to do is go on your face and pull them off, guess what you just stepped in? That's the residue.
Yeah, and I get that feeling a lot, but I have an alternative idea rather than ectoplasm, because I don't feel anything other than the cobwebby feel. I don't feel any residue or anything like that.
Yeah.
We have in our bodies a nervous system, and if you were to kind of peel it back and look at it, it looks like a cobweb within us. So an alternative idea I've been thinking about lately is maybe it's, that energy is hitting us throughout our nervous system, like on our face, like all at the same time, and so you're feeling it going through.
Well, that's a very valid point.
Well, one time I was with my other group, and we were down by this bridge, the 271 bridge. I don't know if you're familiar, Mike, down Valley View, and there's a lot of suicides happen there, and we were investigating there, and we were down by these woods, and I felt something grab my ear. Kind of like how a teacher would, or an older woman, a grandmother would. But the thing is that it felt like it was cobwebs that grabbed my ear.
That's bizarre.
Okay, interesting.
I don't know. I don't know how to explain what happened, but it felt like it was a cobwebby hand that grabbed my hand. That's the way I felt that grab on my hand. It felt like a cobweb. I don't know. It was really weird, and we left shortly after.
I was at an investigation in Wayne, Oklahoma, and this goes back to the touching thing. I have to share this just real quick, then I'll shut up. When they asked about being touched or bothered at all, I was in the main bedroom of this house in Wayne, Oklahoma that I was taken to read for. I'd already had my 2 weeks of remoting for it, and they took me there. We're standing in the bedroom, and there were 6 witnesses to this. My hair got picked up like this and was pulled straight out and up.
Nice.
Completely. I mean, not this long. It wasn't this long, but yeah, pulled straight out and up like that, and then it just fell almost one strand at a time back down. Not static, or else all of it would have done it. But it was one handful of hair, like a serving of spaghetti, pulled up and then dropped down one hair at a time. That was the strangest thing. I've never put that in a book. Huh. Fuck. Okay, Mike.
I had to get some water because actually I'm still from the ghosty thing. Just the mention of it gets her. That's funny.
Does that mean that ghosts can get women pregnant?
I don't think the ghost D's got that kind of power.
There's a lot of movies based on that. The Spawn of Hell. They're impregnating women and.
Right.
I just don't know. Ew. That just ew. Ew. I can't. No. Mm-mm. Yeah, I'm just that makes me. Yeah. Okay. Moving on.
So you guys actually because I left the investigation at St. Joseph's a little early. I was getting really tired, and I had to drive out the next day. So how did the rest of the evening go for you guys after I left?
Exhausting. Yeah. We were exhausted. I remember I was really just dragging the whole night. And even up to that point, I may have got a little second wind, but I think it was just my body fooling itself because I collapsed when I got home. It was a lot of work. It's we had to carry that generator and put it in that that room. I don't even remember what it was called, but we had it off to itself, and that was quite a fight. And stretching out all the cords all over those floors. I'm telling you, just walking around up and down those stairs. After you left, I
Yeah.
think we were all so tired. It's hard to remember any real specific details.
Yeah, with the way that we do our setup, and I have a bad back. By the time we're breaking down, I'm done. I literally can't move for the next day. So that's tough. But yeah, after you left, I think we went out. We did probably one more session. We went up to the top floor, right? And we did, I think, one, maybe two more sessions, and I think that was about it. We were just
Okay.
we were there too.
Yeah, I mean, it was already pretty late when I left, but you guys were continuing on, and I'm trying to think what I was doing. I was going to Liberty High out in Ohio City, which I was there well, that's like a 3-hour drive for me from here. I was there until 1 a.m. that night. Didn't get back here till 4. That was an exhausting weekend. But Bethany Warner looked it up. The psychic that I was talking about earlier that could manifest ectoplasm was Helen Duncan. So
I have to look that up.
Yeah, look her up. It was interesting.
Where did she manifest?
And the spoon.
No, the spoon guy who was that? Uri Geller. Yeah.
Gallagher, the guy that smashed the watermelons?
Yeah, Shawn, we were talking about Gallagher.
I was thinking that. We have another question here from Bethany Warner. You actually kind of answered it already, but I was going to see if you could go into a little bit more detail. Do you find that you're drained after investigation? I'm going to add, if so, how and what do you do in order to counteract that?
Yes, and sleep.
Yep.
Chocolate. Dark chocolate.
No, sleep. During the investigation, about 4-hour energies all night long, and mixed in with some Coca-Cola, not at the same time. And then when I get home, sleep. If I can, I'm going to sleep all day the next day at the very least. I mean, that's because it's draining. It does it. It's not only physically draining because of the way we set up, but investigating, opening yourself up. For me, it's very spiritual draining. So honestly, the thing that I have found works the best is sleep.
See, for me, it's food.
Food?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am ravenous after. I have to eat, and I have to eat a lot. But I'm not doing anything with equipment. I am the equipment.
Right. Well, I bring a lot. I always bring beef jerky and other snacks with me, so I'm eating during the whole investigation. So maybe that's, I don't know, sometimes we go out to eat afterwards.
Yeah, it scares me to eat during an investigation because I get taken over. I'm afraid of choking.
Oh.
So,
interesting.
Yeah, I'm afraid of choking. It's one of the reasons I don't drive to investigations anymore is because I ended up in a ditch.
Oh, wow.
After investigation.
Yeah, that's not good.
That was the Wayne investigation, the one where they pulled my hair.
Oh.
So, Gary Parrish is putting in here the book in the 70s called The Entity when you guys were talking about, fornication with the spirits. And everything that I have read on that, because it was made into a movie, I'm sure we've all seen. If you haven't seen it, you need to. It's extremely disturbing. It's extremely disturbing. Yeah. The police documentation on that particular case, what the police officers saw, what other people witnessed, it is really, really disturbing. And so that was he was just putting that in there about that. But yeah, it's, it's not the person that was on YouTube that Shawn was talking about, not the first to have had had interaction that way, but the woman in the entity, this was not consensual.
Right.
And it was very violent, very bad. Very, very, very bad.
Yeah, that would be like an extreme incubus case.
Yeah.
Bad. So if you haven't seen the movie, you need to. If you haven't read the book, you need to.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be an actually factual case.
Yeah, I was actually walked by the house when I was there for my ghost story filming in L.A. So where they put us up in a hotel, it was a little bit of a walk to get there.
One worth making, though.
Yeah.
one worth making, most definitely. Somebody else had another one in here. So what do y'all have coming up as far as upcoming investigations go?
Well, we are in the process of working on our Hinsdale House video. So that'll be coming out soon. Last I checked, we had one more camera to review. Woo-hoo! So then
Nice.
Sean's going to get it, and he's going to do his magic, and then I'm going to get it, and then I'm going to suffer. Hopefully we'll get that out for everyone. So, and the Hinsdale House is awesome. I mean, that place is amazing. It's so secluded, and you're just surrounded by nature. I know Shawn appreciated that since he's kind of a nature guy. But
did you guys pick up on a lot of activity there?
You know, it's really tough to stay at this point. Some things were very interesting, and I certainly want to look into those things whenever Shawn gets a chance to go over it. When I was there, I know that we experienced some things that I couldn't explain, but, you know, we got all those cameras set up, so
right.
I'll check those out. You know, you can yourself.
There was one thing that no cameras were running. Remember, I went outside. I think I grabbed something from my car, and I came inside quickly. I felt like I was being chased. Remember, I closed the door, and then after I closed the door, something pounded on the door.
I do remember that.
Yeah, but I mean, I can only talk about that because I know that definitely wouldn't be in the video because there's no cameras on us at that time. So
that's the way.
Yeah. So.
Real quick from Zippy Davis, what's worse, an incubus or a succubus? They're essentially the same thing. One's a male form and one's a female form.
You know how I was told to tell the difference?
What's that?
A friend of mine said, the girl's the succubus. And I said, well, why is that? And he said, because they suck you best.
This face.
Wow.
That was a joke.
So you can guess that's the female, and then of course the.
So you can guess. How do you know? What if it's not a straight goat?
No. It's suck you best.
What if it's transgender?
Oh man, I'm not going there.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying that joke. There's flaws in it. That's all I'm saying.
We have.
I'm walking away.
We dove into deeper holes here on the edge of the rabbit hole.
Sorry about that.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Okay. Well, on that note, we're getting down toward the end of the show.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, guys, where can everybody find you?
Wherever. We're all over the place.
And you're here on YouTube, you know, EctoVision Paranormal. So.
Yeah, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest. But between all of us girls, I don't think we do too much with most of those things, especially Pinterest. And, of course, our YouTube channel, where we post some of the most awesome videos ever. You can find us by just simply typing in EctoVision Paranormal. EctoVision's all one word, then Paranormal. And run a search and find one of our videos. Our latest that we uploaded was the Monroe House video, which we love that location very much. Or if you just
and Ghosty had a cameo there.
Oh yeah, Ghosty was right next to a REM pod when it went off. So
yeah, Ghosty set off a REM pod.
That's awesome. Good job, Ghosty.
But YouTube would be like I think it's like HTTP / a bunch of other stuff, and then YouTube / Steve EctoVision.
It's EctoVision. If you, gosh, isn't it something like EctoVision / viewer and then EctoVision Paranormal again, or
Isn't
something?
it just like YouTube.com / EctoVision Paranormal?
Yes, there you go.
All right.
That'll work.
Did y'all know if you just put in EctoVision and Google, it all pops up?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's incredible. I love Google.
Yeah, let me tell you about this really cool website. And I'll spell it out for you. Google.
Right. Another thing you can do is you can go to our website, evparanormal.com, and you will find links to our YouTube channel there. And if you're having unexplained experiences in your home that you have questions about, you can email us there. So that's also a good way to get in touch with us. Facebook, of course, we're all on Facebook, so you can find us there. So, yeah.
All right, very cool. All right, let's do some shout-outs because we do have to wrap this up and then get on with Inside the Upside Down if I'll be able to talk. Because I'm still from the ghosty stuff. All right, so let's start with our chat Shananigator. Shauna, thank you very much. My love for shenanigating the chat. She should be internet connection notwithstanding. She should be on Inside the Upside Down with me here in a little bit. Bridget Willis, there you go. You got a shout out. Chipper Terry, Zippy Davis, thank you for all the questions. Diane Hilbert, Beat 3 Airspace, thank you once again. Ricky Yamakaze, thank you very much for joining us this evening. Nellie Moen, thank you. Lynn's White, thank you very much. Yeah, I guess she was having some problems with Periscope, but it's okay. Tom McNicholas, thank you for being on both and for the the super chat. Thank you. Joe Chandler, thank you very much. Donna Gordon, our Cheshire Cat in the house tonight. Thank you so much. Bethany Warner, thank you as well. I think I said Robert White, but if I didn't, there you go, Robert. Deborah Sosby, thank you very much for joining us once again. Shay Carroll, thank you. Jessica Shea, thank you. A couple of Shays, there we go. Who else do we have in here? Katie Palmer, thank you very much. Pamela Rainey, Rootstown, Ohio. All right, very cool.
Bridget Willis.
Yep, Bridget Willis. Thank you. Discord Threads, thank you as well for joining us again. Ren Oak, thank you. Who else do we have? I can scroll.
Julia.
Yep, Julia was in the house. Fungi was in the house. I'm scrolling back up. Imla Buddha 61, thank you. I'm really appreciating all the new Mad Hatters out here too. So, and again, guys, thank you for the 5,000. 10,000's next. So,
Yeah.
Oh, Candy Orton was in here earlier talking about how she was sharing everything out all over the place. So that's awesome too. We definitely appreciate all that. So who else? Carrie Parrish, thank you. As always, Katie Palmer, thank you as well. And who else?
They need to get up there and hit that like button.
Yep. Mickey Dole, thank you. And who else do we have?
A lot of people.
Yep. Very good night. All right. I think that is going to be about it. Of course, if we missed you, it's not personal. It's just there's a lot of people in chat tonight. And I know that... okay, they're wondering when... yeah, next show is going to be on 15, 20 minutes. I got to switch everything out. I'm probably going to brew a little tea here. To kind of loosen that up. Yeah, no, it's... I don't know what's been going on lately. It's like some sort of sinus thing, allergy thing. Something's going on where I've got like so much mucus going on. It's like I hardly ever get sick. Like once every 3 years, and it's usually a sinus infection. But I got so much like mucus going on. If I start laughing, then I'll be like coughing for the next hour. So there's a book that Shauna keeps. I've only read halfway through. It's from Shauna. It's hilarious as hell, and I can't finish the thing because I laugh too much. So. All right, so everybody, yeah, Real Paranormal Activity, the podcast, green tea. Yes, I do drink green tea, and Mucinex. Yeah, I've tried Mucinex. I've tried all kinds of stuff, but I appreciate it. So yeah, Inside the Upside Down, which is coming up next, right after this, in about 15-20 minutes. We're going to be talking about ghosts, poltergeists, residual hauntings, like differences between all of those. So we're just going to kind of break it down, give you the different types of paranormal activity that happen. What we as humans kind of classified everything as, and yeah, it should be an interesting discussion. So, be on the just hang out here. You might have to refresh the feed at some point when we get it all set up. So, guys, Shawn, Eric, really appreciate you guys coming out. So, EctoVision Paranormal, everybody check them out. And
fun, Mike. It was an honor. And, congratulations with the 5,000 subscribers.
Thank
You're
you.
one of the hard-working guys out there. You deserve it.
Really appreciate that. You guys work your butts off too. I mean, I love your videos. So, yeah. And if one or both, well, Shawn, you said you're going to come, and Eric, if you can make it out, yeah, we'd love to have you out there in June. So, and we got to hook up again for another investigation for sure.
Well, we'll be having one in June.
Well, that's true. That's true.
And I get to be there.
And Vanessa will be there.
I tried to get you to come to OSR with me in February, but you're already going apparently.
Yeah. I think that what was it with the other weekend? I don't think the weekend matched up or something.
What it was is that we're actually going on a Thursday.
Oh, that's what it was. It was a weekday night, which just doesn't fly with my schedule because I have Enigma Underground Radio that night, and then I got work the next morning. So, yeah.
Right.
So, all right. So, all right, everybody. You have a good one, and guys, again, check out EctoVision Paranormal. Have a good night. Well, we'll see you in a little bit. So, and let me get to where's the screen? There we go.